This year in AI robotics feels like the dawn of a new era. From a kid-sized $1,400 robot you can actually order today, to a fully functional $20,000 human-sized machine ready to handle your home chores, we've officially stepped into the age of real humanoids. China's building what looks like a Terminator army. Unitree is unleashing robots that move almost too human. Emotion-driven androids are becoming real, and Tesla's Optimus has finally crossed the line between prototype and person. So let's start with the biggest update of the year. Meet Neo, the world's first consumer-ready humanoid robot you can actually pre-order for $20,000. Yeah, you heard that right. Built by 1X, a Norwegian robotics company backed by OpenAI, Neo is humanity's first real step toward bringing artificial intelligence into the physical world. While Tesla keeps teasing Optimus still stuck in prototype labs, 1X just said, "We're shipping this thing to your house." Hey everyone, welcome back to Next Gen AI. 1X Robotics just opened pre-orders for Neo, a humanoid robot you can actually buy for $20,000. Let's break down what it can really do. Neo stands about 5 feet 6, weighs 66 pounds, and moves with tendon-driven actuators instead of clunky gears, which means it walks and gestures smoothly, almost human-like. It runs on Redwood AI, a system that lets it perceive, plan, and act in the real world. Neo understands your home, recognizes objects, and learns your routines over time. The goal is simple: free humans from household chores. Instead of coming home from work to do more work, Neo quietly takes care of the mess while you're out living your life. And yes, this isn't just a prototype for YouTube demos. It's fully autonomous, able to tidy rooms, fold laundry, or welcome people at your door, all by itself. All right, let's dive into the 3 core modes that make Neo actually useful in your daily life. First up, chores mode. The one we've all imagined since watching futuristic movies. You simply tell Neo what needs doing. Water the plants on Tuesdays, load the dishwasher after dinner, vacuum the living room before you get home. Set the schedule once and Neo quietly gets it done while you're out living your life. And if you ever get curious, open the Neo app. You can literally see what your robot sees in real time through its own eyes. You're at work wondering if Neo finished cleaning the kitchen? Pull up the feed, check the progress, make quick adjustments. It's like a smart home system that finally grew arms and legs and actually gets things done instead of just reminding you to do them. Imagine Neo cleaning your house while you're at work. Would you find that amazing or a little creepy? Comment your take below next. There's AI companion mode. Now this is where things get really interesting. Neo isn't trapped inside your phone or computer like Siri or ChatGPT. It lives with you. It can see your environment, recognize your voice, and remember the little details about your home. Ask, "Where did I leave my glasses?" and it might point right to them. Need help cooking? Neo can identify ingredients, suggest recipes, and even save you from confusing cayenne with paprika. It's like having a calm, patient friend who's always around to help, and who never argues about chores or leaves dirty dishes in the sink. And finally, expert mode. This one's next level. When Neo encounters a task it hasn't mastered yet, you can bring in an expert from 1X to take control remotely. A real human operator connects through VR, sees what Neo sees, and completes the job for you, safely, precisely, and only with your approval. You can watch it all unfold in real time, like your robot just hired a temporary worker from the cloud. 1X calls this the birth of the teleoperation economy, a new kind of labor system where skilled operators anywhere in the world can control physical robots to perform real jobs anywhere else. From factories to warehouses to living rooms, it's global work powered by AI, blending human skill with robotic presence. Neo was designed to blend seamlessly into human environments. It wears a machine-washable knit suit, a hood, and a pair of shoes, not for fashion, but for safety. That soft outer layer cushions any bumps against furniture or you and makes the robot feel less intimidating, more like a modern home appliance than a cold metal machine. Bernd Eivind Bernish, the founder of 1X, explained it perfectly. If it looked like real skin, that would be creepy. The knit suit makes it approachable. You even get 3-color options and customizable shoes so your NEO matches your home's aesthetic. When the suit gets dirty, you simply toss it in the washing machine. It's practical, friendly, and oddly domestic. A robot designed to fit in, not stand out. And don't worry about strength. This isn't a Terminator situation. In a Wall Street Journal test, NEO couldn't even crush a walnut. Its hand strength is roughly equal to a human's, designed for safety and precision rather than brute force. If you're loving how fast humanoid robots are evolving, hit that subscribe. We break down the wildest AI and robotics updates every week. Inside, NEO runs on Redwood AI, a neural network optimized for safe, adaptive behavior in human spaces. Straight out of the box, it can walk, grab, place, and organize everyday objects. But that's only the beginning. With every software update, NEO learns new abilities, from opening doors to managing full laundry cycles. Each user's data helps train the entire fleet, creating a shared learning system where every NEO improves because of all the others. You're not just buying a product, you're joining a living AI ecosystem that constantly evolves and grows smarter over time. Of course, this is still early-stage technology. The current version of NEO occasionally pauses to recharge or cool down. In one WSJ demo, it took nearly a minute to fetch a bottle of water and around 5 minutes to load a few dishes into the dishwasher. That might sound slow, but remember your first smartphone? Your first computer? Version 1 is always the awkward step before the revolution. The 2026 shipping model promises stronger hands, longer battery life, and smoother movement. It's not about perfection yet, it's about progress and possibility. Not everything is fully autonomous either. Some complex or delicate tasks, like folding laundry made of fine fabric, may still require teleoperation, where a human operator takes temporary control through VR. But 1X has built strong privacy filters. Operators can't see you, people in the home are automatically blurred, and they can't enter any rooms you've marked as off-limits. They can only connect when you approve a session. Think of it as remote assistance, not surveillance. Bernd calls this the Big Sister principle. Big Brother watches you. Big Sister helps you. You decide how much access to allow, and maximum privacy means basic autonomy, while granting more access accelerates learning and performance. This part blows my mind. Someone across the world could be controlling this robot right now. Would you be cool with that, or is that a total nope for you? So what are you really buying here? In 2026, a $20,000 NEO isn't just a robot, it's time. It handles chores while you work, helps you cook, and gives you peace of mind when you're away. Imagine coming home to a clean house every evening. No arguments, no stress, no guilt. This is the most tangible form of AI yet. Intelligence you can see and touch, a digital mind living in a physical body. Let's talk money first, because Boomy from Noetics Robotics is about to blow your mind. $1,400. That's it. For a fully functional humanoid robot that can walk, run, and dance. We're talking about a 3-foot-tall machine that weighs around 12 kilograms and moves with what people are calling remarkable stability and fluidity for its price. Think about that for a second. Most humanoid robots cost tens of thousands of dollars, sitting in research labs where only PhD students get to touch them. Boomy costs less than a decent gaming PC. But here's the crazy part, this isn't some stripped-down proof of concept that can barely stand up. Noetics released a demo video showing Boomy absolutely grooving to music, swaying and stepping with balance that looks genuinely impressive. The video went completely viral because nobody could believe a robot this cheap could move this smoothly. And Noetics isn't playing around with their background either. Their team comes from top Chinese universities, and they previously built a larger humanoid that ran an actual half marathon and racked up over 2,500 orders. They know what they're doing. With Boomy, they're going after the consumer market hard, designing it specifically for home use, education, and kids. It even supports drag-and-drop programming so children can code their own robot friend. Noetics straight up said they're bringing humanoid robots from labs to everyday life. And honestly, watching that little dancer move, I believe them. This is the kind of price breakthrough that changes entire industries overnight. Now let's pivot to something completely different, because Ani is out here doing things no other robot in China has done before. We're talking about a robot pop star. Seriously, Any Robotics created what they're calling China's first expressive female humanoid singer, and this thing is wild. Built using the Unitree G1 platform as its mechanical base, Ani has an incredibly realistic animatronic face with 34 motion points, more than Amika, the expressive British robot everyone talks about. She can smile, frown, move her eyes, and lip sync with uncanny realism, even mirroring human emotions in real time. Ani combines an expressive humanoid head with a compact wheeled base. Powered by iFlyTech's AI voice system, she sings and chats with near-human tone and timing. She debuted in late 2024, performing live and starring in what Any calls the first music video sung by a robot. One viral clip shows her singing a Chinese pop song with what I can only describe as convincing emotion, her face displaying feeling as she performs. It's simultaneously impressive and slightly uncanny. But Ani truly went viral in October 2025 during a JD.com livestream. Pop star Liu Yuning was performing when she joined him on stage, introduced herself, and sang his hit song beside him. Afterward, he laughed and admitted she might have sung it better. The clip exploded across Chinese social media, with viewers amazed at her confidence and stage presence. It was both uncanny and incredible. A real android sharing the spotlight with humans. Anywit's whole goal is pushing emotional interaction in robots, giving them social skills and charisma. With Ani, they proved a robot can engage people through art and performance, not just utility. This opens doors for theme parks, concerts, variety shows featuring robot actors. We're literally watching a sci-fi future become reality. Ani singing live? Amazing or a little creepy? Share your thoughts. Speaking of sci-fi becoming reality, let's talk about what happens when serious robotics engineers decide to have some fun. Tron 1 by LimX Dynamics went viral after introducing its wild Jurassic mode, turning a high-tech research robot into a playful dinosaur on wheels. Normally, it's a 1-meter-tall research platform that can walk or roll for labs and developers. But this time, LimX proved robotics can be fun too. They put their bipedal robot in a dinosaur suit, and suddenly Tron 1 turned into a walking green triceratops, complete with horns and a tail. Kids gave it commands, and it responded like a playful pet. One clip showed it strolling through a crosswalk beside pedestrians, instantly winning the internet. Comments joked, "Did a dinosaur just crash the party?" Proving how a simple costume made this serious research robot go viral. If a dinosaur robot made you smile, hit that subscribe button. More futuristic chaos coming your way. It's not just about the tech anymore. It's about creativity and imagination. Tron 1's modular design means it can wear different skins or attachments for various roles. Today it's a dinosaur. Tomorrow maybe a cartoon character or an animal mascot. This hints at using these robots in entertainment venues, theme parks, education, anywhere you need to capture imaginations. The genius move here is making robotics approachable. These machines often look cold or intimidating, but put one in a dinosaur suit and everyone lights up. People love this blend of advanced robotics and playful nostalgia, sparking ideas for robo-dinosaurs in classrooms and theme parks. LimX Dynamics proved they can mix engineering with imagination and grab global attention. One robotics magazine quipped, "We're one step closer to a real-life Jurassic Park." But with circuit boards instead of DNA. The viral success proves that injecting fantasy and fun into robotics massively boosts public enthusiasm. If Tron 1 walked into your classroom, what would you do? Comment now. Finally, let's wrap with the Booster K1, because this thing is genuinely impressive on every level. $5,000. That's all it costs to own a full-fledged humanoid robot. Not a prototype, not a demo, a real machine built for action. Booster Robotics is selling the 1-meter-tall, 19-kilogram K1 for just $49.99, and that price alone turned heads across the industry. Then came the knockout punch. This same robot won first place at RoboCup 2025 in the Kid-Size Humanoid League, beating top research teams from around the world. Both the winning team from Germany and the runner-up used Booster K1 robots. That means it proved world-class agility, balance, and intelligence, outperforming other research robots on a global stage. And now, anyone can buy one. The K1 stands about 95 centimeters tall with 22 moving joints and an onboard NVIDIA AI module for vision, sound, and motion control. In demos, it runs, dances, even moonwalks, all while staying safe and approachable for classrooms. Battery life hits about 40 minutes, and it's fully developer-friendly, supporting ROS2 and virtual simulation. It's basically an all-in-one humanoid toolkit. When Booster announced the price around Programmers' Day in late October 2025, tech communities went absolutely wild. For years, humanoid robots that could do dynamic moves were either insanely expensive or not for sale. Booster, a Beijing startup from Tsinghua University robotics alumni, flipped the script completely. They built an affordable, high-performance platform for education and research, and delivered. At just $5,000, K1 beats most entry-level humanoids in both cost and capability. Their larger robot helped Tsinghua win the Adult RoboCup, and now Booster is an official RoboCup partner, giving the brand serious credibility. Reactions online were instant. Educators saw classroom potential, students dreamed of owning one, and viral clips showed the K1 dancing and playing soccer with surprising grace. Unitree just unveiled its next AI humanoid, the H2, and it's already shaking up the industry. So let's start with the face. The H2 has this smooth, stylized human-like face that's either going to fascinate you or freak you out. Some people are calling it uncanny valley territory, like those silver androids from iRobot. One blogger straight up called it creepy cool, and honestly, it's hard to disagree. Unitree dressed this thing up in actual clothing for the demo video, and suddenly we're not looking at a robot anymore. We're looking at something that could pass you in a hallway and make you do a double take. That's intentional, by the way. Unitree wants you to feel comfortable around this machine because their whole pitch is that the H2 is born to serve everyone safely and friendly. Those are their words. Let's talk about what makes the H2 different from last year's H1 model. The H2 actually has a bit less mass to its frame compared to the H1, even though they're both full-size humanoids. The H1 weighed in at 103 pounds, while the H2 is 154 pounds. You're probably confused right now, wondering how H2 is less than H1. Stay with me. What I mean is the H2 redistributed its weight better. This clever engineering lends itself to much quicker footwork. You can see it in the videos. The thing moves with a speed and grace that the bulkier-looking H1 just couldn't match in certain situations. Here's where it gets really interesting, though. The H2 made a trade-off. Remember how the H1 set a speed record at 3.3 meters per second? It could sprint. The H2 sacrificed that raw speed for something arguably more valuable: dexterity and strength. It's limited to under 2 meters per second. But what it loses in sprinting, it gains in manipulation ability. Each H2 arm can carry 15 pounds normally and handle up to 46 pounds briefly. That's the same payload as the H1, but with way more control. Now, this speed reduction wasn't just a design choice. It was also a safety lesson learned the hard way. During testing of the H1 model, there was an incident in the lab where the robot's high-speed movements led to an accidental collision with a researcher. The H1's sprint capabilities, while impressive for records, created genuine safety concerns in close-quarters human environments. The researcher sustained minor injuries, but it highlighted a critical flaw in the previous generation. When a robot can move at 3.3 meters per second in confined spaces, reaction times become dangerously compressed. This incident reportedly influenced Unitree's decision to prioritize controlled, precise movements over raw speed in the H2. Safety over spectacle. The H2's reduced top speed isn't a compromise. It's a calculated improvement based on real-world lessons about human-robot interaction. Drop a comment below. Would you prioritize speed or safety if you were designing a humanoid robot? I'm genuinely curious about your take on this trade-off. And get this, the H2 can wear optional dexterous robotic hands. We're talking multi-finger hands called the Dex 5-1 that let it grip and manipulate objects with scary precision. It can fold clothes without squishing the fabric. Now let's compare this beast to the rest of Unitree's lineup because context matters. You've got three main players here: the H1 from 2023, the compact G1 from 2024, and now the H2 from 2025. The G1 is the baby of the family at 1.3 meters tall and 77 pounds. It's designed for classrooms and light-duty use. Starting price? About $16,000. That makes it the affordable entry point for universities and robotics labs wanting to experiment with humanoid AI. The H1 and H2 are both full-size at roughly 1.8 meters. But remember that weight difference and that critical safety incident. The H1 was built for speed and set records in 400-meter sprints. It costs around $90,000, though some configurations run up to $129,000. But that speed came with risks that the H2 specifically addresses through better weight distribution, improved sensor arrays, and movement algorithms designed with human proximity in mind. The H2 isn't officially priced yet, but industry analysts expect it'll cost well over $100,000 given the advanced specs and enhanced safety features. It's positioning itself as the high-end research and development platform that learned from its predecessors' mistakes. If you're enjoying this deep dive into humanoid robotics, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future breakdowns of cutting-edge tech like this. Trust me, the robot revolution is just getting started. But let's keep it real for a second. Is this the future or just another expensive tech demo? Unitree's CEO, Wang Xingxing, is pretty transparent about where things stand. He positions the H2 as a high-performance research and commercial platform, complementing their low-cost G1 model. But he also admits that humanoid robots still face serious technical limitations delaying mass adoption. Right now, the H2's use cases are mostly developmental and demonstrative. It's showcasing what's possible with human-like dexterity and AI capability, but it's not a finished consumer product you can just buy and bring home. China's robot scene is exploding right now, and Unitree is right there competing with the big players. Boston Dynamics has their Atlas doing backflips and parkour in labs, but Unitree is going for a more accessible price point. The H1 sold for around $90,000, and rumors say the H2 will be in that same ballpark for bulk orders. With government grants flooding the market to push prototypes into real production, the whole industry is opening up fast. Wang's vision? By 2030, thousands of robot fleets working warehouse shifts that never get tired. Jobs that humans take for granted but struggle with because, we're human. So where does all this leave us? The H2 is a milestone. It's proof that humanoid robots are getting more capable, more human-like, and more ready for real-world applications. Universities and research labs will eat this up for studying bipedal locomotion, AI perception, and human-robot interaction. The high degree of freedom design makes it perfect for manipulation research, way beyond what the G1 can handle. And yeah, it'll make killer demos at trade shows and exhibitions because watching this thing move is genuinely mesmerizing. Let me tell you about a genuine pivot moment in robotics. Figure A, I just unveiled their third-generation humanoid, and this isn't another flashy tech demo. It's the inflection point where science fiction becomes consumer reality. Figure 01 was the rough prototype, all exposed wires and cautious first steps. Figure 2 proved the concept by actually working in BMW factories. But Figure 03? This is where everything shifts. The entire design philosophy pivoted from factory workhorse to home companion. They're building for the messy chaos of your kitchen, your living room, your actual unpredictable life. Picture this. You come home exhausted, dishes piled in the sink, laundry scattered everywhere. You just tell this thing, clean up the kitchen, and it autonomously does it. No remote control puppet show. That's not a promise for 2035. That's what they're engineering right now in California. Here's what makes this approach brilliant. By solving for domestic chaos, Figure accidentally built something genuinely general purpose. Your home throws everything at a robot. Different lighting conditions, cluttered spaces, objects of every conceivable shape. Humans constantly rearranging furniture, pets, kids, random spills. If you can handle a home environment, you can handle pretty much anywhere. The robot stands 5 feet 6 inches, weighs 132 pounds, 9% lighter than Figure 02. And here's the kicker. It's covered in soft textiles instead of hard plastic. Multi-density foam protects against pinch points. They're thinking about what happens when your toddler bumps into it or when it brushes past you in a narrow hallway. This isn't superficial safety theater, it's fundamental design thinking. Watch it load a dishwasher, a task that sounds mundane but is robotically brutal. Recognizing dozens of dish shapes, grasping without breaking anything, placing correctly in the rack. Figure 03 does this, clearing tables, sorting laundry, tidying rooms. The spatial memory that helps it remember where you keep coffee mugs also translates to warehouse navigation and inventory tracking. Every capability multiplies across use cases. Let me blow your mind with the hand engineering. Each hand has 16 degrees of freedom with near-human dexterity. But Figure went way beyond articulation. They developed in-house tactile sensors detecting forces as small as 3 grams. That's a paperclip's weight. The robot can distinguish between a secure grip and an impending slip before the object drops. Here's where it gets wild. Each hand has a camera embedded in the palm. When reaching into dark cabinets or confined spaces where head-mounted cameras are blocked, that palm camera provides redundant close-range visual feedback. It can see what it's touching and adjust in real time. This is hand-eye coordination that previous humanoids couldn't touch. The softer, adaptive fingertips increase surface contact for stable grasps across varied object shapes. Combined with tactile sensing and palm vision, you get compliant manipulation that adapts continuously. That's what enables folding fabric, handling wine glasses, or assembling small components. Previous humanoid robots were expensive engineering prototypes designed to prove concepts, not scale production. Figure 03 flips that completely. Every component was redesigned with manufacturability and cost in mind. Figure built Bot-Q, their dedicated California production facility capable of 12,000 robots annually, scaling to 100,000 units over 4 years. This isn't a research lab, it's a production line with state-of-the-art systems and full traceability for every subassembly. When you cut component costs by 90% and establish high-volume production, economics transform completely. Tesla's targeting around $20,000 for Optimus. Figure's production approach suggests similar price points once volumes ramp. We're talking humanoid robots potentially costing less than a decent used car within a few years. That's the inflection point where adoption explodes. Inductive toe charging. Wireless charging coils built into the feet. The robot steps onto a charging mat and draws 2 kilowatts. No cables, no fumbling with connectors. Battery running low? It autonomously walks to the charging station, docks itself, tops up, and returns to work. In homes, it could have a designated spot in your utility closet. In warehouses, scattered charging pads enable recharging during natural workflow breaks. Fabric-wrapped body and colorways. The textile exterior isn't just aesthetic, it's engineering meets psychology. Darker tones for professional work environments, lighter grays and creams for homes. The soft goods are fully washable and tool-free removable. You can swap the robot's clothing for cleaning or customization. Hotels could have robots in bellhop outfits, hospitals in scrubs, warehouses in high-visibility vests. Appearance matters when getting people comfortable with humanoids in their homes. A fabric-covered robot in calming colors is far less intimidating than an industrial metal skeleton. Figure understands adoption hinges on trust, and trust starts with design prioritizing human comfort. Figure 03 becomes available to select commercial partners throughout 2025 for real-world testing and data collection. Imagine staring at a robot, and it blinks back at you. Not just blink. Its eyes twitch, its lips curve, its expressions almost feel human. Creepy or revolutionary. Now let's get into it, because this thing didn't just trend. This thing made people feel something. So why is a Chinese startup building elf-like robots with expressive faces? The answer is simple: connection. A headform's whole aim is to improve human-robot interaction, not just the functional press this, get that, but the kind where a machine senses you're excited or nervous or just curious and mirrors that back in a way that feels natural. The vision isn't to make robots that only look like machines. It's to build characters that express emotions, respond in real time, and pick up on the nonverbal cues humans trade every second. Eye contact, micro smiles, tiny shifts in attention. If robots are going to step into our public spaces, A head form wants them to feel approachable, even warm, without pretending they're human. That's a shift from steel helper to emotional interface. And here's the big question. How does a robot make such natural expressions? It starts under the skin. In the elf line, a head form targets up to 30 facial degrees of freedom. Think tiny artificial muscles working together, driven by a precise control system. The company highlights custom brushless micromotors tuned for ultra-quiet, quick response, and compact size, so you don't hear a mechanical whir when she blinks or lifts a brow. The result is fluid micromovements, an inquisitive brow, a subtle asymmetric smirk, a gentle squint that sells intention instead of animation. Elf Schwan 2.0 leans into that fidelity. Those little beats are what make viewers do a double take. Now the look, you've noticed the ears. What's with the big elfin vibe? That's deliberate. Schwan is part of an elf series with fantasy-inspired aesthetics built to captivate, spark curiosity, and reduce the uncanny valley. You read it as a character, not a human replacement. That framing softens expectations and makes the interaction feel playful instead of eerie, more living art than lab demo. 2.0 doubles down on that presentation, including a recent collaboration clip themed around NetEase's Sword of Justice, which shows the character styling in a tighter, more polished package. But design alone isn't enough. The illusion lands when sight and sound sync up. Built into Schwan's eyes are RGB cameras for gaze and eye contact, with mics and speakers completing the loop so she can listen and reply as expressions move with the words. It's not just hear text, play audio. The blink, eye dart, and head tilt are timed like a person emphasizing meaning. That's the gap between a talking mannequin and a presence that feels alive. On top of the hardware sits the mind. A head form describes a stack that blends self-supervised learning with language and vision language models, so the system can read what it sees, understand context, and coordinate speech, gaze, and expression in real time. In plain English, words, eyes, and face work together. That's why even a short 2.0 clip feels immediate, not canned. And yes, the body is still a sculpture by design. Schwan is a full-body figure that doesn't walk. The innovation is concentrated in the head, eyes, and expression system. By avoiding biped complexity, a head form focuses on what really sells personhood. The face, the voice, and the way she looks at you while you speak. That makes 2.0 better suited to long installations, stable, low maintenance, and it elevates the living statue vibe that turns passersby into an audience. Where does a robot like this actually belong? Not warehouses. Think exhibition halls, retail flagships, hotel lobbies, hospital info desks, live stream sets, and splashy launch events. Places where presence and memory matter more than chores. That's a different path from companies chasing utility tasks. A head form is staking out the emotional frontier, teaching robots to communicate presence, how to be with people before they carry the groceries. Eyes, smile, or timing. What made you double take? Comment below. What changes in 2.0 versus earlier clips? The character look is more refined, the timing of expressions and gaze feels smoother, and the overall presentation is tighter and more theatrical in the new demo material. It's evolutionary, not a rewrite, and it stays true to the same thesis. Realism plus character design beats raw utility when the goal is human attention and comfort. Of course, everyone wants to compare. How does this stack up against names you've seen before? Think of Sophia, the media-famous android that could smile and frown but often felt a little steppy by today's standards. Then there's a mecha, with stunningly smooth motion and expressive gestures, but presented as intentionally robotic, silver face, exposed mechanisms, so you never confuse it with a person. Schwan 2.0 takes a different bet. Push facial nuance to the edge of realism, then steer it through a fantasy character so it stays approachable. It's not better or worse, it's a different goal. If a mecha is a platform, Schwan is a performance. If some humanoids chase chores, Schwan chases connection. And in the right setting, gallery, expo, flagship, connection wins. Reactions are split. Some people say, this finally crossed the valley. Others get chills. That smile is a little too good. Both are fair. A lifelike face trips deep social wiring. We're built to respond. That's the power and the responsibility of this design. Are we blurring the line too much, or finally giving machines the ability to meet us where we live, through timing, gesture, and shared attention? The conversation isn't just technical, it's cultural. Xuan 2.0 is the perfect spark. Practical questions? This isn't a shopping cart gadget, and the company hasn't posted public pricing. Think bespoke, high-end, and case by case. It's an experience you plan around, something you install, light, and present. Zoom out. What happens when emotional realism becomes normal? Customer service changes, education changes, entertainment changes. The face of an experience could literally be a face that learns, adapts, and never gets tired. Not every robot needs a hyper-real head. Sometimes a screen is perfect, but the bar for presence is rising. We're moving from "does it work" to "how does it make me feel?" That isn't fluff, that's design reality. Human attention is scarce, and emotion is the gateway to memory. Xuan 2.0 exploits that truth with precision. And there's craft. This face didn't happen by accident. Sculptors and engineers iterated to find lines that read graceful instead of eerie, skin tones that hold up under bright lights, eyelash density that sells a blink without looking theatrical. The more they nailed those analog details, the less the audience had to work to accept the digital illusion. Lesson for every lab. If you want feelings, put artists at the table. Here's the part that matters most for you watching right now. We're used to measuring robots by tasks. Lift capacity, walking speed, battery life. Xuan 2.0 asks a different question. Presence. Can it hold your gaze? Pace a smile just right? Make you forget, just for a second, that you were ready not to care? If yes, then even a static body can change the room. Even a small movement can shift the mood. And a single, well-timed micro-expression can say, "I see you," better than 1,000 lines of dialogue. So where does this leave us? Elf Xuan 2.0 shows robots can do more than work. They can make us feel. Maybe that opens a new channel for learning, comfort, and delight. Maybe it blurs lines we thought were firm. Either way, this is the frontier we're crossing in public right now. Alright, so Boston Dynamics just dropped an update that's legitimately making me rethink what humanoid robots can actually do. We're talking about Atlas, the robot that's been doing backflips and parkour for years, but here's the thing. It never really had proper hands. Until now. And honestly, what they've built is kind of insane. Let me walk you through why this matters. Because this isn't just another cool robot video. This is the moment Atlas goes from gymnastics showpiece to something that might actually work alongside humans. So first, let's talk about what they actually built. Atlas now has these 3-fingered hands. 2 fingers plus an opposable thumb. And before you say, wait, why not 5 fingers like us? This was deliberate. The engineers at Boston Dynamics basically said 3 fingers is the sweet spot, the minimum you need to do complex tasks without turning the hand into a mechanical nightmare that breaks down constantly. Makes sense, right? Less complexity means more reliability, especially when you're trying to put 7 actuators and a bunch of sensors into something the size of a human hand. And here's where it gets wild. Each hand has 7 degrees of freedom. That's 7 different ways the fingers can move independently. Compare that to the old Atlas gripper, which was basically a clamp with 1 degree of freedom. Open, close. That's it. This is a completely different beast. But here's the crazy part that everyone's freaking out about online. These fingers can bend completely backward, like fully reverse direction. No human hand can do that, and it's not a bug, it's a feature. This gives Atlas grasping strategies we literally cannot do. Imagine hooking onto something from behind or wrapping around an object in ways that would snap our fingers. That's superhuman range of motion right there, and it opens up manipulation techniques we're still figuring out. Now, what really makes this hand special isn't just the fingers, it's what's packed inside. Boston Dynamics crammed tactile sensors into the fingertips, covered in this high-friction rubber-like material. So Atlas can actually feel how hard it's gripping something. The robot's goal is to use as little force as possible while keeping a stable grip, which means it can pick up a stack of paper cups without crushing them. Think about that. This is the same robot that was throwing tool bags around construction sites last year with those primitive clamps. Now it's handling fragile objects with finesse. And they didn't stop there. They put cameras in the palms. Actual cameras looking at what the hand is manipulating in real time. Combined with the tactile feedback, Atlas now has both vision and touch working together, which is basically how we use our hands every day. Let's talk about what this unlocks. With the old clamp, Atlas could lift heavy stuff, sure, but that was about it. It could only handle simple tasks. With this new hand, Atlas can do precise pinch grips for tiny objects, 3-point power grasps for heavy items, and everything in between. The engineers claim they can now grasp almost anything they throw at it. That's a staggering jump in versatility. We're talking delicate items, irregular shapes, small tools, large crates. The range is massive. And this matters because Boston Dynamics is aiming Atlas at real industrial work. Warehouses, factories, assembly lines. Tasks like sorting packages, stocking shelves, bin picking, even using hand tools and assembling components. You need dexterous, reliable hands for that kind of work, and Atlas finally has them. Here's what I find fascinating, though. Boston Dynamics made this switch from hydraulic to fully electric actuation, which is what made all of this possible. The old hydraulic Atlas was incredibly powerful but way too bulky and imprecise for delicate manipulation. Going electric gave them the control and compact packaging to fit 7 motors into the hand. It's quieter, cleaner, and gives them the tight control loops needed for touch-sensitive tasks. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a fundamental redesign philosophy. Atlas went from prioritizing raw strength and mobility to balancing agility with genuine manipulation skill. If you think that's crazy, wait until you hear another Atlas update. Boston Dynamics just dropped a bombshell that's blowing up the robotics world. Their Atlas robot isn't just walking and jumping anymore. It's operating fully autonomously in real-world environments, and honestly, it's both incredible and slightly terrifying. This isn't some carefully choreographed dance routine we've seen before. We're talking about genuine AI robot making split-second decisions in unpredictable situations. But here's the kicker. Boston Dynamics and Toyota Research Institute just revealed they've been secretly training Atlas using something called large behavior models. Think of these as ChatGPT for robot actions. Instead of generating words, these AI systems generate complex physical behaviors. The results are jaw-dropping and super impressive. Here's what makes this fully autonomous demo so revolutionary. Yes, I said fully autonomous. Atlas can now understand natural language commands and execute complex multi-step tasks without any human intervention. You can literally tell it, pick up the parts from the cart and put them on the shelf, and it figures out everything else. No programming, no step-by-step instructions, just pure artificial intelligence in action. The technical leap is huge. Atlas takes in what its cameras see, knows where its body is, and understands language commands 30 times every second. It's basically thinking and reacting faster than most people can even notice. The robot demonstrated something called the Spot Workshop task, where it grabbed parts from their 4-legged robot Spot, folded them, organized shelves, and cleared entire workstations. All completely autonomous, all in one continuous sequence. But wait, it gets even cooler. When things go wrong, Atlas doesn't just stop like old robots. It bounces back from mistakes. Parts fall? It picks them up. Bins close suddenly? It figures out how to open them. These aren't pre-programmed moves. This is real problem-solving learned from training data. The new electric Atlas represents a complete evolution from its hydraulic predecessor. Gone are the days of loud, power-hungry hydraulic systems. The new version operates with 50 degrees of freedom, meaning it can move in incredibly complex and fluid ways. Its hands alone have 7 degrees of freedom each, enabling everything from power grips to delicate pinch grasps. The stereo vision system provides high dynamic range perception that rivals human sight. Boston Dynamics achieved this breakthrough through an ingenious 4-step process. Is this the future of human-like AI or just a creepy step too far? So what exactly is a Headform's M1 robot head? It's a lifelike robotic face made to study and improve human-robot interaction. The M1 focuses only on expression, blinking, smiling, and reacting naturally to make conversations with machines feel more human. It's designed to show emotions and respond to people in real time, making it one of the most realistic robot heads ever shown online. Why just the head? Because that's where the magic of social connection lives. A Headform's bet is that we don't need a full humanoid body to test what makes people comfortable around machines. We need eyes that track, eyebrows that question, lips that sync to speech, a jaw that pauses at the right beat. This head-first design helps teachers, researchers, and creators add a friendly human-like face to things like reception desks, kiosks, museums, or classrooms, without needing a full robot body or high costs. It's a focused path to solving the hardest part of human-robot interaction, making the machine feel relatable the instant you meet it. So, how real is it, really? The internet's split, which is always a sign something important just happened. On one side, people are stunned, calling it the most realistic robot face they've ever seen. The timing of the blinks, the little eyebrow lifts, the way the eyes don't dart like a camera but glide like they're thinking, those details trick your social instincts into engaging. On the other side, some can't shake the eerie feeling, the uncanny valley tingle you get when a thing looks human but moves a fraction off from how a human would. The divide is exactly the point. A Headform wants to cross that valley by refining the micro-motions until your brain stops flagging robot and starts accepting presence. The goal isn't to spook you. It's to make machines feel natural enough that you forget you're negotiating with metal and code and start talking like you would to a person. Does that realism make us more comfortable or more uncomfortable? Maybe both, depending on where your line is. You've stuck around this far. You're clearly into it. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Okay, back to the video. Let's get specific about how M1 works, because the realism isn't a costume. It's a system. First, the hardware. Those 25 micromotors give the face high degrees of freedom, so instead of a few big movements, you get many tiny ones layered together. Brow tension rises as lids lower, eye vergence shifts while the head tips a hair to the side. That's the recipe for aliveness. Second, sensing. The embedded RGB cameras in the eyes give the head a person's eye vantage point to detect faces, gaze direction, and expressions. Microphones let it hear your voice, while speakers return speech that syncs with mouth motion. Third, intelligence. A Headform's roadmap is to pair the head with self-supervised learning and large language models so the software can predict emotions, mirror what it sees, and coordinate facial expressions with speech in real time. That's where synchronized lip motion, gentle nods, and reactive smiles line up with what the AI is saying, not just what the motors can do. If that sounds ambitious, it comes from a track record. A Headform's founder, Yuhang Hu, spent years in robotics research pushing this exact frontier, how to make a machine not just articulate words, but articulate feelings through motion. An earlier project nicknamed EMO explored real-time facial mirroring, detecting your expression and rendering a matching response with minimal delay. That research DNA is visible in M1's design: fast perception, expressive actuation, and the aim for emotion-aware timing that sells the illusion of understanding. We should be honest here. Robots don't feel in a human sense. But in social interaction, mimicry, timing, and expression carry a lot of weight. If a robot can read your smile and return a warm look at the exact right moment, your brain gives it credit for empathy, even if that empathy is computed. Is that a bridge to genuine understanding later, or a clever mask that makes us trust machines too quickly? Would you chat with a face this real, yes or no? Comment below. That's the ethical edge a Headform is skating. Of course, this isn't happening in a vacuum. Humanoid robotics is a global arms race, and China's pouring fuel on it. A Headform founded in 2024 isn't just a one-off demo. It's building product lines in parallel. The Elf series leans into fantasy aesthetics with pointy-eared characters that showcase expressive faces for installations and brand experiences. while the Lawn series targets cost-efficient human-like bots that trade some realism for scalability. On the business side, Aheadform has already secured funding from major backers like Shunwei Capital, China Merchants Venture, Shenzhen Capital Group, and Actibot, signaling that investors see social robot faces as a strategic pillar for the country's humanoid ambitions. Meanwhile, the global field is crowded and heating up. Tesla with Optimus, Figure AI with its warehouse-ready humanoids, Unitree pushing agile platforms, Agibot's industrial play. If you're Aheadform, a best-in-class expressive head could be the edge that slots into many bodies and many markets, a face layer others license rather than reinvent. Could M1 give them real leverage in the humanoid race? If realism becomes the key to trust, the answer might be yes. Still, we have to ask the uncomfortable questions out loud. Is this breakthrough exciting or a little terrifying? Each step toward realism blurs the line between tool and replacement, between a helpful interface and a stand-in for human presence. The upside is enormous. Better bedside manners from a robot in a hospital, kinder classroom assistants for kids who need patience, richer experiences in museums and retail. But if a machine can mirror your feelings, does it start to shape them? If it's easy to bond with a face that never tires, never judges, and always responds just right, do we start preferring it to people when life gets messy? And if the same technology spreads into advertising or influence campaigns, could an army of perfectly timed smiles and earnest eye contact become a new persuasion machine? The uncanny valley is an emotional speed bump for a reason. It makes you pause and ask what exactly you're consenting to when your brain says person and your cortex knows robot. Where then could this tech actually matter? Think about any setting where a human face makes engagement easier. Customer service is the obvious one. A hotel concierge head that recognizes you from earlier, holds eye contact, and answers questions with the same warm cues a person uses. Education. A tutor that can see confusion on a student's face and slow down, or mirror excitement when the answer clicks. Entertainment. Museum guides, theme park characters, and brand ambassadors. You remember not because they spoke, but because they reacted. Healthcare. Therapy companions that can reflect a patient's mood and invite conversation, or elderly care assistants that reduce loneliness by being consistently present and expressive. Research. Labs measuring how facial nuance builds trust, and how timing changes disclosure in sensitive interviews. The brilliance of the only head concept is that it slots into all of these with minimal mechanical footprint. You can mount it on a desk, a pedestal, a mobile base, or a humanoid torso later. If your study is about emotion or your installation is about character, the head is already the whole show. Let's circle back to the nuts and bolts for a second, because craft matters here. The M1's silicone-based skin stretches and wrinkles in sync with the motors beneath it. So expressions form from the inside out rather than as a mask moving on top. The micromotors are custom brushless designs optimized for low noise, which keeps the scene cinematic instead of mechanical. The stereoscopic vision from the eye cameras gives a natural angle for face tracking and gaze control. The result is line of sight that feels intentional, not retargeted by a sensor bolted to the chest. Data and power are routed through a base interface, tethered today for demos, with external compute handling heavy AI while onboard controllers handle motor coordination. It's all modular, tuned, and purpose-built for one thing: social presence. In demos, that combination has been convincing enough to make seasoned viewers do a double take, then lean in instead of stepping back. Even critics who feel the eerie twinge concede that the motion quality and timing are a step change from the stiff, servo-noisy androids of a few years ago. And yes, public reaction has been loud. Clips of the M1 and its sibling showpieces racked up millions of views within days, with feeds split between Westworld is here jokes and sincere amazement at the life in the eyes. Some viewers insist the valley's been crossed. Others say it's the closest we've ever been, but not quite there. That split is useful feedback for Aheadform. Keep tightening the synchronization between speech and micro-expressions. Keep smoothing the gaze saccades. Keep tuning the eyebrow musculature to read as. So would you be okay talking to a robot doctor, teacher, or customer service rep if it looked this real? If the face soothed your nerves before a procedure, or noticed your confusion and slowed down a lesson, would that feel like help or manipulation? What if it made waiting in line less frustrating because the person behind the desk met your eyes and apologized with believable concern? We already accept virtual agents that sound friendly. Adding a face might move acceptance from fine to I prefer this. That's the opportunity and the responsibility. Design choices at this layer shape how societies adapt to synthetic social presence. Guardrails, disclosure, and clear "this is a robot" cues might be necessary in the early years, even as the engineering tries to make those cues feel unnecessary. Is M1 the start of robots that not only look like us, but also understand us? The fair answer for now is that it understands how to look like it understands us, and that alone has power. Humans are wired to respond to faces. A well-timed nod changes whether we keep talking. A sympathetic micro-smile changes whether we trust. If a machine can deploy those tools ethically, clearly, transparently, and in service of our goals, we get better interfaces and warmer experiences. If it uses them to extract more of our time, data, or agreement than we meant to give, we're in trouble. Technology doesn't choose, people do. The exciting part about M1 is that it gives designers and researchers an instrument tuned to human nuance they've never had before. The scary part is that nuance cuts both ways. Before we wrap, a quick reality check. This is new tech, not a mass product you can order tonight. Demos today tend to be tethered. Heavy AI processing still rides off board. Long-term durability hasn't been proven in the wild. Pricing isn't public, and early deployments will likely be in labs, exhibitions, and pilot programs rather than homes. But Google just dropped something game-changing. The DeepMind team has unveiled not one, but two new robotics models that flip the old rulebook. Together, they act like a dual brain system. One brain plans with reasoning you can follow step by step, and the other brain executes those plans with calm, precise hands. This isn't science fiction. It's Gemini Robotics 1.5, and it's the closest robots have ever come to feeling like real teammates. First, let's dive into the reasoning brain. Gemini Robotics ER 1.5. Think of ER 1.5 as a high-level planner with sharp eyes and a strategic, wide-view perspective. When you give the robot an instruction, ER 1.5 uses its camera to look at the scene, understand what's in front of it, and then figure out the best step-by-step way to get the job done. But what if the robot needs more than just what it sees? That's where the real upgrade comes in. ER 1.5 can reach out to the web, calling tools like Google Search to check local rules or grab extra information before acting. It's not just trying to figure things out on its own. It knows when to get outside help. That combination of perception and live knowledge is a true superpower. Picture this. A cluttered recycling table stacked with banana peels, empty soda cans, and torn pieces of cardboard. You instruct your robot to recycle everything according to San Francisco's local rules. Normally, a robot would struggle here. It wouldn't know the city's exact system because that information wasn't built in. But ER 1.5 handles it differently. It pauses, looks up the rules on Google. Green is compost, blue is recycle, black is trash, and then scans each item on the table. One by one, it sorts the banana peel, the soda can, and the cardboard scrap into the right bins. Finally, it lays out a simple step-by-step plan the robot can follow, turning a messy pile into neat, organized recycling. That's not just perception. It's real-world reasoning powered by extra knowledge from the web.
Hi, Aloha. Can you use my location and sort the objects into the correct compost, recycling, and trash bins?
To perform the sorting task based on San Francisco waste guidelines, I will use the green bin for compost, the blue bin for recycling, and the black bin for trash.
Here we have on our agentic layers, both control the robot and have access to the internet. To sort the trash, I had to look up the rules and look at the objects on the table, think about where each object should go, matching the rules that I had looked up.
The task is complete.
Good job, thanks.
Imagine if you had a robot this smart at home. What's the very first job you'd trust it with? Share your thoughts below. Shifting from recycling to daily life, think about everyday routines. Imagine the night before a big trip. A half-open suitcase sits on the bed, clothes scattered around the room. You simply say, "Pack my bag for London." ER 1.5 instantly checks the forecast, spots rain in the week ahead, and adds an umbrella to the list alongside the essentials you mentioned. It feels like having a thoughtful travel assistant who sees the bigger picture and anticipates what you'll need.
Hi, Apollo.
Hello there. How can I help you today?
I'm traveling to London with my friend next week. Can you help me pack and put the beanie in my bag?
I can certainly help you pack. I will put the beanie in your bag.
And can you tell me if it's going to rain while I'm there?
It will likely rain on several days next week in London, particularly on Wednesday, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. I will put the umbrella into your bag.
Thanks, Apollo.
You're welcome.
These aren't staged tricks. The model is designed to work in many situations, learning to handle new tasks with the same flexible reasoning. It understands space, time, and goals, and it shares its thinking in simple, clear words. It outputs a plan in natural language or structured steps, and it can include precise coordinates in the image so the robot knows exactly where to go next. But here's the crazy part. It also has a thinking budget. Give it more time, and it plans more deeply. Give it less, and it responds faster. That's control over speed versus thoroughness, which is essential in the real world where latency matters. ER 1.5 proves that robots can think and plan, but planning alone isn't enough. The real test is whether those ideas can play out in the physical world. That's where the execution brain comes in, taking the plan and smoothly turning it into real action. Google's Gemini Robotics 1.5. This is the vision language action model, the one that turns plans into action. If ER 1.5 is the chess player thinking 10 moves ahead, Gemini Robotics 1.5 is the pair of hands putting those plans into action with calm precision. It processes images alongside your instructions, explains each step as it works, and then issues real motor commands. That level of clarity makes its actions easy to trust. Picture this. The demo floor is silent, everyone watching closely. On the table is a pile of laundry. The robot starts its task, first reaching down to pick up a soft red sweater. It lifts it smoothly, pauses briefly as if checking, and then places it neatly into the dark bin.
Hi, Apollo. Can you help me sort my laundry, please?
Sure, I can help with that.
Put whites in white bins and the darks in the dark bin. Beautiful, okay. Cool, so this model is able to think while it acts, and I can actually read its thoughts as it's doing the task here. So I can see right now it wants to put the dark blue pants in the black bin, which is great. And then let's see what it does next. Now it's trying to pick up the white cloth with its left hand, which it's doing now. And then it's going to do that, and I can throw in a bunch of other clothes for it. And it will just keep going until, it gets sorted all the laundry. So let's see, it's picked up a red t-shirt, and it's going to put it in the right bin. Cool, it does that. A few months ago, we could only pick one item and put it in a bin. Now with thinking, we're able to ask the robot to chain a whole series of tasks together, and it's completely end-to-end. The thoughts and the actions are interleaved. I can see it running in person, which is really cool. Let's see what it does with the white cloth here. It's still trying to go for, okay, so here it's seeing, it said adjust the black bin a little bit so I can pick up the cloth. So this is really cool. We didn't really train it to do this explicit thing. So these kind of thoughts just emerges during inference, which is really cool to see. And it's super reactive. I can now switch this up on it, sorry, Apollo, and it knows that I have done that and it will react. Cool.
If this blew your mind, wait until you see what's next. Tap subscribe so you're here for it. All right, let's get back to it. Gemini Robotics 1.5 is a huge AI model that can remember a lot at once, about 32,000 words together. That means it can keep track of long reasoning steps and visual details in memory. It doesn't run inside the robot itself. It connects through Google's system and gives the robot instructions. In practice, it can send commands like pick up the object or move to this spot and link them together into smooth actions. You can also teach it new skills with about 100 examples, which is like showing it how to do something a few times until it learns. If you say something like, clean up the table, ER 1.5 breaks the job into smaller steps, while 1.5 carries them out using the camera for feedback. This brings thinking, planning, and acting into one loop. And here's the cool part. It's not limited to one robot body. The same model can control very different robots, and the skills can move between them. A task learned on a 2-arm Aloha robot can also work on Aptronic's Apollo humanoid or a pair of Franca arms without retraining. That's the dream of one brain, many bodies starting to come true. This dual model design, ER for reasoning, 1.5 for action, fixes a problem that has slowed robotics for years. In the past, you either had smart language but weak hands, or strong hands with no idea why they were moving. Now there's a planner that can read the scene, use web tools, and write a plan, paired with an actor that can carry it out with care. Gemini Robotics 1.5 turns to a row of colorful fruits on the table. One by one, it picks them up and places them on matching plates. Yellow bananas onto the yellow dish, red apples onto the red one, showing how smoothly it can shift from laundry to kitchen tasks without hesitation.
Previous Gemini Robotics version has been tested over and over and over again to put this banana into the bowl. This is a very simple task. I'm going to switch the model here and make the task slightly more challenging. So this is Gemini Robotics 1.5. Aloha, could you sort these fruits into color matching plates?
Sure, I can certainly help you do that. Put the green fruit into the green plate.
We enable it to think. It can perceive the environment, different colors of the object, different colors of the plate. It would think step by step and then finish this multi-step task.
Put the banana into the yellow plate.
Although this example seems very simple, the idea behind it is really powerful. The same model is going to power more sophisticated robots like humanoids to do more complicated daily tasks.
And if something shifts mid-task, like an item being bumped out of place, the robot notices, adjusts the scene, and continues without missing a beat.
Can you put the bananas in the clear container? Can you put the grapes in the clear container? Can you put the grapes in the pink container?
Hey, can you erase the whiteboard?
That last part is critical. When things move, it doesn't panic. It replans and recovers. This is how you go from toy problems to household chores. Here's the surprising part. On tests where the robot had to handle new, unseen tasks, this method did more than twice as well as the older best models. And in full start-to-finish trials, it succeeded 2 to 3 times more often than the earlier version. That's not just a small improvement, it's a major leap in reliability. Safety is also a focus. Google is training a robot constitution to make sure the system refuses unsafe commands, respects weight limits, and avoids impossible plans. Inside, a safety council checks decisions, and outside experts review social impacts. In practice, ER 1.5 blocks risky steps, while 1.5 refuses moves that are too heavy or unsafe. You can also stop at mid-task, say, "Don't lift that box," and it will step back and ask for a new plan. Safety is built into how it thinks and acts. Developers even get control knobs, like how long it should plan or when it should call tools, making it easier to connect into existing systems. Adoption is moving quickly. Google has real partners. Not just lab demos. Aptronic's Apollo humanoid is a major test bed, with Google investing in its recent $350 million raises. More than 60 other groups, including Boston Dynamics and Agility, are already testing. The first Gemini robotics models arrived in early 2025, and by September 2025, ER 1.5 was rolled out to developers. Full access to the action model is starting with select partners to keep hardware rollouts safe. The direction is clear. We're moving from robots that wait for one command at a time to agents that can plan and act on their own. 32,000 context window for long reasoning, and live tool calls that fetch real-world facts. That's how language gets tied to reality. So what does this really mean? It means robots can finally take on longer and messier chores without giving up. It means they can admit when they're not sure and ask for help, instead of failing silently. It means fewer brittle scripts and more flexible habits, shaped by practice in many different places. The leap isn't just about being smarter, it's about being clearer. When a robot shows what it's doing and why, you start to trust it. And when it checks the weather or a local rule to guide its plan, it feels less like a blind tool and more like a real teammate. From sorting laundry to planning your trip, Gemini Robotics is pushing robots past simple commands into real intelligence. One brain plans with fresh facts. One brain acts with steady hands, and both share their process as they go. All right, Unitree just dropped their Kung Fu Kid 5 6.0 update for the G1 humanoid robot, and honestly, if you told me 6 months ago that a robot would be doing head-high front kicks and consecutive backflips in real time with 0 video speed-ups, I would have laughed you out of the room. But here we are, and this isn't science fiction anymore. Unitree is rewriting what we thought was possible with a 35-kilogram machine that costs less than a used car. The martial arts moves are legitimately impressive. We're talking high kicks that reach head level, rapid punch combinations, spinning moves, one-legged balance poses, and low sweeping kicks, all executed in rapid succession. The G1 strings these together like a trained martial artist, not like a wobbly prototype that needs 5 seconds to recalibrate between moves. This is fluid, controlled, and frankly kind of intimidating to watch. The coordination leap from earlier versions is massive. Just earlier this year, Unitree was showing off basic martial arts patterns and simple side flips. Now, the robot is doing complex kung fu sequences that would make a stunt coordinator nod in approval. And here's the crazy part. Unitree confirmed that no camera tricks were used, no speed-ups, no editing magic. What you see is real-time performance, which means the G1's joint controllers and balance algorithms have been turbocharged to handle these fast, dynamic actions without faking it. But the martial arts are only half the story. V6.0 also showcases acrobatics that honestly seem impossible for a humanoid robot. We're talking consecutive somersaults, aerial twist jumps, and backflips that land cleanly. The G1 can string together multiple flips and cartwheels, using its arms for mid-air stabilization, and then nail the landing like it's been training at a gymnastics academy for years. In reality, it's been training for about 18 months through reinforcement learning and imitation training, but the results are mind-blowing. The whole body control is so refined that the robot actively extends its arms outward during high kicks to counterbalance, repositions its hands during flips, and minimizes wobble even during one-legged stances. This isn't just brute force engineering. This is elegant problem-solving that makes physics look easy. Quick question. Do you think teaching robots martial arts is genius, or just asking for trouble? Drop a comment. Are you impressed or a little freaked out? Now let's talk about the backbone of all this, anti-gravity mode. Unitree shocked everyone by introducing this stability upgrade, and it's built right into V6.0. So what is anti-gravity mode? No, they didn't install a gravity switch. It's a software upgrade that makes the robot fight physics better. Think of it like a reflex pack for humans. The system reads an impact, shifts weight in milliseconds, repositions the feet, and snaps the torso back where it belongs. It's the difference between slipping on a wet floor and doing a perfect moonwalk out of danger. Would you trust a robot that can fight physics? Comment yes if you'd own one, or no if that's just scary. Under the hood, it likely combines whole body control, springy joint behavior, and a reactive step planner that says, foot here, now. Torso there, now. Add learned skills like rolling, flipping, and that famous kip-up move, And you get a robot that seems to cheat gravity without actually breaking any rules. But here's the crazy part, D. Unitree didn't change the hardware to get this. It's the same platform, just smarter. Over-the-air smarter. Why do these tests matter? And why is V6.0 not just flashy show-off content? Unitree's clips weren't random chaos. They were controlled stress testing. In the anti-gravity mode demo from late September, engineers forcefully kicked the G1, hitting it from different sides at different moments, including mid-step. They used single attackers and small groups. They tested sticks and body checks. The goal was to mess with the center of mass and see if the robot's reflexes could keep up. And the time to standing? Often under half a second, and usually within a second even after full knockdowns. That's the headline. But here's the crazy part. When G1 does fall, it doesn't just stand up. It chooses a recovery path. Roll, arch, kip up, like a trained athlete who knows 10 ways to get off the mat. That's not drama. That's engineering discipline showing up as choreography. Public reaction to V6.0 has been split and passionate. Some people are in awe of the technical achievement, pointing out that this level of agility was science fiction just a few years ago. Others are less impressed by the stunts and more focused on utility. One commenter said, "I just wanted to do my laundry and clean my house. I don't want a killing machine at my home." Another argued, "These demos mean nothing. You should show video where the robot is actually doing some useful work without human intervention." Let's settle this in the comments. Should humanoid robots be trained for agility in combat, or focus only on useful tasks like cleaning and caregiving? Comment agility or utility. And honestly, that's a fair critique. The G1 right now is a research and industrial platform, not a consumer robot butler. Out of the box, without custom programming, it isn't folding your clothes or fetching your coffee. It walks via remote control, waves, shakes hands, and with the right code, it learns new moves. Think of it like buying a high-end PC in the 1970s. The hardware screams future, but the magic is whatever software you teach it to run. But here's the crazy part. That's exactly why this matters. A software update just gave it a survival skill you can't fake. You can build on that. Where does this go from here? Expect more demos with objects, not just impacts. Expect mixed sequences. Walk, turn, grab, get shoved, re-grip, keep going. Expect competitions and sports-like challenges because they stress the control stack in fun ways. And yes, expect people to keep trolling with "do my dishes robo." That's fine. Trolling keeps the bar high. The right answer is to show real tasks in messy spaces. Put the robot on a slick ramp with a box in one hand. Bump it on purpose. Make it finish the carry. That's the clip we need next. But here's the crazy part, The day the internet stops joking about Skynet is the day robots become boringly reliable. And boring reliability is exactly what we need before they step into real jobs. Unitree's Kung Fu Kid 5 6.0 is a milestone moment. 18 months of iterative training, over-the-air updates, and relentless refinement have produced a humanoid robot that can kick, flip, balance, and recover like nothing we've seen at this price point. The anti-gravity mode laid the foundation by proving the G1 could take a hit and bounce back in under a second. V6.0 builds on that with martial arts sequences and acrobatics that push the limits of what 35 kilograms of metal and software can do. Is it ready to fold your laundry? Not yet, but it's ready to survive the chaos of the real world, and that's step one. The next chapter is simple. Take those reflexes and aim them at work that matters. Because this is just the beginning, and the pace of progress isn't slowing down. What if I told you the next generation of soldiers might not breathe, blink, or beg for mercy, and they're already being trained for the front lines? China is building a digital army designed to cross mountains, climb rooftops, and slip under doors while humans watch from a safe distance. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on the machines that make that possible. A mechanical yak that hauls 160 kilograms through snow, a gun dog that can be dropped on a rooftop, a mini tank that disarms bombs, and a rolling eye that can spy where no human can fit. And because this isn't a sci-fi trailer, I'll show you real specs, real roles, and how all these pieces could lock into one unstoppable war machine. Ready? Let's go. Imagine a patrol at 4,500 meters. Thin air biting your lungs, wind slicing across a ridge. You and your unit are moving light, but your gear isn't. That's where China's mechanical yak shows up. It's a four-legged, yak-inspired bionic robot built for the worst ground you can find. Steps, trenches, cliffs, muddy roads, grassland, deserts, snowfields, forests, even the high plateau border zones you see in the news. It carries up to 160 kilograms and still hits around 10 kilometers per hour, thanks to 12 joint modules that let it walk, sprint, turn, move diagonally, jump, and dash without face planting. Think of it like a tireless pack mule with a ruggedized brain. Its core mission is logistics: food, munitions, batteries, plus close-in recon where trucks can't go, but analysts already whisper about weapon mounts, making it a ground drone that doesn't need a road. In short, it's built to follow soldiers anywhere soldiers can go, and plenty of places they can't. But here's the crazy part. The mechanical yak isn't the star of the show, it's the warm-up act. Because China's digital army isn't just pack animals, it fights. Picture a quadruped trotting across broken concrete, pausing at a parapet, then bracing. On its back, QBB-97 light machine gun, the 5.8 by 42 millimeter drum-fed version soldiers already know, capable of roughly 650 rounds per minute with an effective range around 400 meters. This armed robot dog, tied to Kestrel Defense's Blood Wing concept, is designed to be airdropped by a medium red wing forward drone so it lands where humans can't. Rooftops, alleys, spots behind lines. From there it can suppress, scout, and coordinate with other robots in a 3D pincer while you control it from cover. It's not autonomous trigger pulling yet. Remote operation is the design baseline. But the tactic is unmistakable. Unmanned teaming, where a drone delivers a gun dog to a vantage point faster than infantry could ever climb. That's urban warfare rewritten for machines. Now breathe for a second and think through the implications. An airdropped gun dog that can shoot while moving, work tight corridors, and crawl where a human can't is basically a Lego block for city combat. Add optics and a 4D perception stack and you've got a scout that doesn't get tired. Add a drone on Overwatch and you're running a 2-robot fire team. Some variants even swap the LMG for a QBZ-95 rifle or a launcher for smoke or loitering munitions. The platform is still experimental, with real questions about robustness under jamming, debris, and water. But the concept evolved in public, and that's the tell. This is a test you run before you scale. Of course, not every BattleBot needs to carry a gun. Some need to carry your luck. Enter the EOD robot, the tracked mini-tank you send toward anything that looks like a bomb. It's simple on purpose. Treads for rough ground, a mast camera so operators can see, a remote link so humans stay back, and a multi-joint arm that can lift, grip, cut, and place. The toolbox is serious: disruptors, cutters, probes, and when needed, a small shaped charge to neutralize the threat from a distance. These units are compact enough to snake into cars, basements, and tunnels. They're being mass-produced inside China, increasingly with smarter navigation so operators can focus on the delicate work while the robot handles the drive. The mission statement fits on one line: let the machine take the risk, not the human. Now for the robot that doesn't walk at all. It rolls like a secret. Think of a sphere slipping under a door, gliding across tile with a hush. China has fielded ball-shaped security robots for patrol work, rounded bodies that can roll, right themselves, and transmit what they see. In urban ops, that form factor is lethal for intel. It squeezes into vents, dives under furniture, and goes places even a rat would hesitate. Police pilots in China have already used spherical patrol bots for surveillance with features like facial recognition and non-lethal pursuit tools. Swap the badge for a camo skin, and you can imagine the same chassis scouting tunnels or stairwells before a team stacks on a door. It's the kind of platform you'd miss until it's too late, because by the time you hear it, it's already watching. Let me stitch the picture wider. A mechanical yak for loads and long hauls, a gun dog for rooftops and alleys, an EOD mini-tank when the floor hums suspicious, a rolling eye for the cracks and corners. That's a ground squad with no pulse, and we're not done. China's playbook goes broader with humanoids, swarms, and even autonomous ships and subs. In the humanoid category, Chinese companies are rapidly building robots intended for patrols, logistics, and eventually more. You've seen police-scale units on city streets, around 1.38 meters tall, taking voice input and handling routine crowd tasks. At the high end, production lines are ramping for bipedal machines that can handle manipulation, navigation, and long-hour shifts without fatigue. Civilian first? Sure, but doctrine is military-civil fusion, and the line between lab, street, and barracks blurs fast. Meanwhile, swarms are the connective tissue. CETC has already demoed mass launchers for fixed-wing drones, dozens at a time from trucks and helicopter bays, and the PLA used drone swarms in amphibious landing drills back in 2021, handling recon, interference, and even suicide strikes. Think about what that means when you mix air swarms with ground robots. The sky finds and blinds. The ground moves in. One state test fired 48 small drones in a single ground launch. Other setups push the concept into the hundreds. This is how you saturate sensors, confuse defenders, and roll right up to the objective with machines that are cheap enough to lose and smart enough to try again. And then there's the ocean, because battles aren't just sidewalks and stairwells. China's planning includes massive autonomous exploration submarines, ocean gliders that sip power and listen for days, and even concepts for stealthy, unmanned warships that can operate for months. One flying drone carrier unveiled in 2025 boasts a 25-meter wingspan and a 16-ton takeoff weight, so it can lift and release waves of coordinated drones mid-mission, a mothership in the sky. Undersea, that Sea-Wing glider fleet charts currents, salinity, and the contours submarines hide behind, data that quietly rewrites the map for anti-submarine warfare. Stack all that alongside land robots and swarms, and you start to see the real plan. A layered web of sensors and shooters where the first soldier on scene is a machine. But here's the twist that should keep every planner awake. Most of these systems don't need to be perfect. They just need to be many. Robot dogs working in pairs. Yak mules in convoys. Ball scouts sprinkled through an apartment block. Drones in the dozens, then in the hundreds. If one fails, the next rolls in. The cost curve favors the side that can build more, not the side that fields one exquisite machine. And as more of these platforms get quietly threaded with smarter navigation and decision support, the human has less to do moment to moment. That's efficient, until it isn't. Let's loop back and put hard numbers on each piece because I promised concrete specs. The mechanical yak, up to 160 kilograms carried, roughly 10 kilometers per hour top speed, 12 joint modules enabling diagonal gates and jumps, designed specifically for everything from snow to rock to desert. Role: border patrol and logistics with a side of recon. Risk: if armed, it becomes a roaming ground drone with serious endurance. The Bloodwing Gun Dog, QBB-97 LMG in 5.8 by 42 millimeters, approximately 650 rounds per minute, approximately 400 meters effective range. Airdrop insertion by Red Wing forward drone. Remote control baseline. Urban rooftops and indoor corridors favored. Risk: experimental robustness, but conceptually sound for 3D city fights. Other variants include QBZ-95 and smoke or loitering munitions. EOD bot. Tracked chassis, masked camera, long-reach arm, carries cutters, disruptors, and can emplace a small explosive charge to neutralize devices. Small enough for cars and tunnels, mass-produced with AI-assisted movement appearing in newer versions. Mission: keep humans away from blast radius. Spherical patrol recon, already used with police in China, can patrol, recognize faces, and even assist in pursuits depending on configuration. Military versions would serve as stealthy rolling cameras in tunnels, bunkers, and crawl spaces, places where a wheelbase or a legged robot won't fit. But here's the crazy part you can't unsee after today. None of these platforms operate alone in the vision Beijing is pursuing. The phrase is military-civil fusion. You test robot dogs at a defense expo, you patrol a district with a humanoid police unit, you roll spherical security bots on a city beat, and the lessons bleed into military doctrine overnight. Procurement scales, software hardens, and the civil and dual-use flips whenever needed. That's why you see exoskeletons moving kit into bed at 4,500 meters and Sharp Claw Reconnaissance UG-5s in service roles since 2020. This is what a pipeline looks like when the state can move ideas from street to soldier without friction. Now I can hear the pushback. How much of this is real today? Fair. Some pieces are prototypes, some are fielded in drills, and a few are already standard kit. But the direction of travel is unmistakable. The PLA ran drone swarms in amphibious exercises in 2021. It tested ground and air swarm launches that mass 48+ units at a time. It's exploring autonomous ships and subs designed to loiter for weeks. It's buying and adapting commercial quadrupeds into rifle carriers for joint exercises abroad. Footage you can actually find from 2024. The lesson? If you want a preview of tomorrow's battlefield, watch the exercises, not the parade. Here's where it all converges. Picture a border clash in winter. Mechanical yaks bring ammunition and batteries up a ridge, no vehicles required. A drone swarm scouts the next valley while a few units dive to shred jammers and sensors. A blood-winged dog gets dropped on a rooftop to hold a stairwell with suppressive fire, while an EOD mini-tank clears a booby-trapped hallway. Spherical bots roll down a ventilation shaft to map the building. Meanwhile, a humanoid logistics unit shuttles, crates, and ladders, while a police model derivative handles crowd control in the rear. Every piece is cheaper than a tank tread and, crucially, replaceable. That's not sci-fi. It's a system of systems you can assemble from parts we just walked through. Before we close, a reality check. The armed dog platform has unknowns: jamming, debris, weather, battery swap rates, and how it handles real-world chaos. The yak's payload and speed are impressive, but convoy doctrine, refuel logistics, and noise signatures matter. Swarms are powerful, until an EW bubble fries their links. And autonomy on the battlefield isn't a switch you flip. It's 1,000 brittle edge cases you grind through. Even so, the pace is accelerating because each exercise adds data, each pilot adds training sets, and each export partner adds money. That flywheel is why this story doesn't slow down. So where does that leave us? With a simple, uncomfortable question. Are these machines the future defenders? Or the future threat? If you're excited by the logistics miracles and the life-saving EOD work, you're not wrong. If you're chilled by rooftop gun dogs and silent rolling eyes, you're not wrong either. What we do know is this. The side that masters the stack, mule, dog, mini-tank, sphere, humanoid, swarm, wins the tempo of the fight. And in modern war, tempo is everything. If you learned something today, hit subscribe, drop your take in the comments. Okay, buckle up because what you're about to see is absolutely bonkers. Elon Musk just dropped footage of their Optimus robot throwing punches, blocking strikes, and executing spinning kicks like it's training for the Robot Martial Arts Championship. Elon Musk confirmed it. This isn't remote-controlled. Learning to move like a human by watching humans move. We're talking neural networks processing combat moves in under 100 milliseconds. The future just got a whole lot more interesting. And honestly, a little terrifying. Let's break down what's really happening here. The video shows Optimus Gen 2 facing off against a human trainer wearing a black motion capture suit covered in sensors. They're in Tesla's robotics lab with red padded floors, probably for safety when robots inevitably faceplant during testing. The setup is side by side. Human performs a move on the left, robot copies it on the right. We're talking straight punches, defensive blocks, side kicks, torso rotations, even spinning back fists. The robot maintains balance through every single move. When the trainer physically pushes Optimus, the robot adjusts its weight, shifts its feet, and recovers posture autonomously. This isn't some pre-programmed dance routine. This is AI-driven imitation learning happening before our eyes. But here's the crazy part. When people started questioning whether someone was secretly controlling the robot with a joystick, Musk jumped into the replies and shut it down. AI, not tele-operated. That means everything you're watching is the robot's neural network processing visual input and outputting motor commands in under 100 milliseconds. No human puppeteer. The machine is learning to move like us by watching us move. That's end-to-end neural network control, the same fundamental technology Tesla uses for full self-driving in their cars, now applied to a walking, kicking, balance-adjusting humanoid body. Now you might be thinking, cool party trick, but why teach a robot kung fu? Great question, because martial arts aren't just about fighting. They're about testing the absolute limits of physical control. Think about what a roundhouse kick requires. Precise joint coordination across shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles, real-time balance adjustment as weight shifts to one leg, force management to avoid toppling over, and spatial awareness to avoid smacking into walls or people. If a robot can execute a spinning kick and land on its feet, that same control system can navigate crowded factory floors, assist elderly people without knocking them over, or recover from slipping on wet surfaces. Martial arts training is essentially a stress test for agility, balance, and robustness. And it's not just kung fu. Remember when Tesla showed Optimus Gen 2 dancing to upbeat music at their tech demo? That moment wasn't just for show either. The dance sequence highlighted how fluidly the robot could coordinate multiple joints, maintain rhythm, and react to timing cues, all powered by its AI control system. Whether it's a graceful twirl or a sharp kick, these demonstrations prove that Optimus isn't just mimicking movement. It's learning the art of motion itself. Tesla's been building toward this moment for years. Optimus started as TeslaBot back in 2021, basically a concept announcement. The Gen 2 version, which launched late 2023, walks 30% faster than Gen 1, weighs 10 kilograms less, and has hands with 22 degrees of freedom per hand, delicate enough to handle eggs without cracking them. Tesla's goal is mass production by 2026 or 2027, with initial factory deployment for tasks like part assembly, eventually scaling to consumer markets at under $20,000 per unit. Imagine owning a general-purpose robot that costs less than a new car. That's the vision. Before we go any further, make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss the next wild robot update. Okay, now back to the video. But here's where things get really wild. Tesla isn't alone in this martial arts robot trend. Unitree Robotics in China released videos of their G1 humanoid doing solo kung fu routines. Air punches, 720-degree spin kicks, withstanding stick whacks while maintaining balance. They're using simulation to reality training, where the robot learns in virtual environments before attempting moves in the real world. There's even academic research now. A paper called Kung Fu Bot demonstrates physics-based whole-body control for highly dynamic skill. Why the explosion of fighting robots? 3 big reasons. First, it's incredible marketing. A robot doing kung fu goes viral instantly, attracting investors, engineers, and media attention. Second, these demos prove technical milestones. If your robot can handle dynamic disturbances like pushes and hits, that validates your control algorithms and real-time feedback loops. Third, it enables practical applications. Better agility and reflexes make robots safer and more useful in unpredictable real-world settings. Disaster response, warehouse automation in cluttered spaces, physical therapy assistance, you name it. The skills learned from martial arts, fast reflex, balance recovery, coordinated multi-limb movement, transfer directly to everyday tasks. But let's address the elephant in the room. A lot of people online are freaking out, posting memes about Terminator and Matrix, joking that teaching robots to fight is a terrible idea. One viral comment said, "Pretty sure there were several movies made indicating why this is a terrible idea." Fair concern. However, these companies are targeting civilian applications, not militarization. Tesla wants Optimus folding your laundry and assembling car parts. Unitree is focused on research and affordability. Their G1 sells for around $16,000, way cheaper than competitors. No evidence suggests weaponization. The fighting moves are really about proving the robot can move like us to help in everyday life, not to start some robot uprising. The technical breakthroughs here are staggering. Optimus demonstrated response times under 100 milliseconds, better weight distribution than earlier prototypes, and reduced rigidity compared to older videos where it struggled just to walk without stumbling. Experts analyzing the footage noted improved joint torque, enhanced gyroscopic stabilization, and real-time AI adjustments for equilibrium during that spinning backfist move. This stems from upgrades in neural network architecture, likely trained on massive datasets of human motion captured via those sensor suits. Tesla's leveraging their Dojo supercomputers, the same machines training their self-driving AI to teach robots human-level movement. Here's what makes this moment genuinely important beyond the viral hype. These demos are setting new benchmarks for the entire robotics industry. When Tesla shows Optimus recovering from a push, competitors like Unitree and Agibot have to step up their game. It's creating a feedback loop of innovation. Open sourcing also plays a role. Unitree released datasets and code so the global research community can tweak and improve their robots. This accelerates progress across the board. We're talking about enabling robots for real tasks. Elderly care, where balance and gentle touch matter. Warehouse work requiring quick navigation around humans. Rehab therapy where robots safely demonstrate physical exercises. The economic impact could be massive, creating jobs in AI training while automating repetitive, dangerous work. There's also geopolitical significance. China's leading in affordable humanoids. Unitree's G1 at $16,000 undercuts most Western competitors. Tesla's pushing hard to stay ahead with vertical integration, using their AI, manufacturing, and battery expertise to build cheaper, smarter robots faster. This is shaping up to be a new tech race, like smartphones or electric vehicles, with massive implications for labor markets and economic competitiveness. Musk hinted at more updates possibly coming at Tesla's We Robot event on October 10, 2025, where fleet deployments might get announced. The Kung Fu demo was strategic timing, proof of capability right before a major showcase. And honestly, the public reaction has been overwhelmingly positive despite the Terminator jokes. People are excited, curious, and increasingly convinced this technology is real and coming soon. So what's next? Expect more companies jumping into this martial arts demo trend because it works, it generates buzz, and proves technical chops. But more importantly, watch for these robots transitioning from lab tricks to actual useful work. The same AI that teaches a robot to block a punch can teach it to safely hand you a cup of coffee or navigate a hospital corridor without bumping patients. We're witnessing the birth of machines that can move, learn, and adapt in human environments. That's not science fiction anymore. That's October 2025, and it's absolutely mind-blowing.